She cheated on me days before we moved in together, and I still stayed. Follow for more real, messy relationship stories like this. I always knew my boyfriend loved raves. The lights, the music, the chaos. It was his thing. Me, I get migraines from flashing lights. I can't stand for hours. That world was never mine. But I accepted it because I loved him. Before we were official, I joked, "Hey, maybe don't make out with strangers at raves." He laughed it off, then came back sick and admitted it wasn't a stranger, it was a friend. That should have been my first warning. A year and a half later, we were long distance, planning a future. A new city, new apartment, a fresh start. I packed my whole life into boxes, left my parents' house, and drove hours to start over with him. He met me halfway, hugged, kissed me, but something felt off. The next day, we sat on the floor of our empty apartment, eating instant noodles in silence. There's no excitement, no warmth, just this heavy feeling in my chest, like I knew something was wrong. Then he looked at me and said, "I have to tell you something really bad." He slept with someone at a rave, days before I moved in. No protection, no excuse, just, I feel horrible. I cried in a room with no furniture, no friends, no escape. I had just moved my entire life for him, and somehow I stayed. We tried to fix things, talked for hours, cried, built a home together. Slowly, it started to feel okay again. Until one day, another rave. He broke up with me out of nowhere. His reason: I want someone who can share that lifestyle with me. I begged, I offered to change, to go to raves. He still left. We lived together, broken up, strangers in the same space. I shut down completely, didn't speak, didn't look at him, just waited to escape. Then 6 weeks later, he came back, said he made the biggest mistake of his life, that he threw away something real for something meaningless. And guess what? I gave him another chance. Now, we're better than ever. We communicate, we laugh. We have rebuilt so much. But the truth is, every time he goes to a rave, I feel it all over again. The anxiety, the jealousy, the fear that one day he'll come home with another confession. I want to trust him, but part of me is still stuck in that empty apartment, eating noodles, realising everything had already fallen apart. Would you have stayed or walked away?
Imagine getting a text from a person you love most, moments after they betray you. Not to confess calmly, not to explain later, but while they were breaking down emotionally and you were the one forced to comfort them. That's exactly what happened to me. And even now, I still don't know what hurts more, what she did or the fact that I was the one trying to save her afterward. My girlfriend and I had been doing long distance for about a year. It wasn't easy, but we made it work. We saw each other whenever we could, counted down visits, sent late night messages, talked about the future. When you're long distance, trust becomes everything. You don't have daily routines together. You don't get random hugs after work. You don't get normal relationship moments. You survive on loyalty, communication, and believing the other person is protecting what you built. I believed that. 3 months ago, she went to a music festival. I wasn't worried. I trusted her completely. But then, everything changed in one night. While she was there, she met another guy. At first, it sounded harmless. He was flirting with her. She liked the attention. They talked throughout the festival, messaged each other, spent time together. Another guy in the group was interested in her too, and she told him she had a boyfriend. But the one she was actually drawn to, she kept talking to him. Her reasoning was that he had a girlfriend, so nothing would happen. That logic didn't last long. They started having deeper conversations, talking about how if they were both single, maybe they'd get together. Talking about what could happen if life were different. That's when lines were already being crossed, even before anything physical happened. Then the rainstorm hit. Everyone scattered. She went back to her tent to grab dry clothes, and afterwards, instead of ending the night there, she went to his tent. That one decision changed everything. Inside the tent, she laid on his chest. They kissed. Then someone else walked in, so they stopped. They claimed nothing happened. They waited until the other person fell asleep, and then they started again. By the end of the night, she had fully betrayed our relationship. Not by accident, not because of substances, not because she was confused in the moment, by choices, and several of them. Then came the part that still messes with my head. Right after it happened, she texted me, not to tell me immediately what she'd done in a clear, honest way. She was panicking, emotional, falling apart, and I was scared that she might hurt herself somehow. So while I was just beginning to understand what had happened, I comforted her. I tried to calm her down. I reassured the person who had just broken me. That feeling is hard to describe. It's like being stabbed, then apologising to the person holding the knife. Later, I learnt more. Her best friend had encouraged it. The guy she cheated with then acted emotional afterwards, pretending to cry and make her promise not to tell anyone. But she told me, and I told his girlfriend. Because if I was in a position, I'd want to know too. Apparently, they're still together. I don't know how. As for me, I tried giving my girlfriend another chance, but despite everything, I know she feels guilty. I know she's sorry. I know she regrets it. But regret doesn't erase images from your mind. It doesn't erase the anger. It doesn't erase the way trust suddenly feels fragile. Now every sweet message hits differently. I love you. You mean everything to me. Never doubt my love for you. Those words used to comfort me. Now they remind me that she said things like that only hours before betraying me. That's what people don't understand about cheating. It's not just the act. It's what it does afterwards. How it poisons those memories. How it changes words. How it makes sincerity feel suspicious. How it turns love into something you question. And now I'm stuck asking questions that I can't answer. Will the pain ever go away? Will I ever trust her again? Was this a horrible mistake that she'll never repeat? Or just the first time that she got caught? I know one thing for sure. I didn't deserve any of it. No loyal person does. Sometimes the hardest part isn't being betrayed. It's deciding whether love is enough to stay after trust is gone. Follow for more real relationship stories, heartbreak confessions, and impossible choices.
They say the truth sets you free, but no one tells you how much it can destroy you first. Because sometimes the truth doesn't come all at once. It comes in pieces, fragments, and by the time you've put them together, you realise the person you trusted most is the one who shattered everything. Let me start by saying this. This has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to process. My boyfriend and I met on New Year's Day, 2023. Not at some quiet cafe, not through friends, but at a rave. Loud music, flashing lights, that kind of night where everything feels temporary. But somehow, he didn't. We connected instantly. We both loved the music, the energy, the escape. Back then I used to take some class A's too, but I stopped. He didn't. And for a while, that didn't feel like a problem. I trusted him. That's important, because trust is the thing that makes everything else possible, and the thing that makes betrayal hurt the most. One weekend we had separate plans. He wanted to go to a rave with his friends. I didn't hesitate, and there was no arguments or suspicion, because he'd gone out with me before and nothing had ever happened. At least, nothing I knew about. That night, he took class A's, but this time was different. He didn't measure it, didn't weigh it, didn't think. He just took it straight from the bag. Too much. Way too much. And on top of that, he was drinking. According to him, he blacked out completely. No memories, no control, just gone. The next morning, he had to ask his friends what had happened. Piece together his own actions like a stranger hearing about it himself. Because that night he cheated on me. Not with a random girl, but with someone I knew. Someone I considered a friend. But there's the part that makes it even more twisted. She didn't want it. She shut him down completely. Because she knew we were together. He called her adorable, put his arm around her, rested his hand on her leg. Tried to get her to lie down with him in her bed. And honestly, I didn't even know if that's everything. That's just what I've been told. 4 days later, he finally told me. Not immediately, not the next morning. 4 days. He said he needed time to figure out what actually happened, to gather the pieces, to understand his own blackout. And yeah, part of me is glad he told me, because he didn't have to. He could have buried it, pretended it never happened. But another part of me can't stop thinking, what if this isn't the full story? What if there's more? Because it didn't stop there. I found out he was also touching his best friend's girlfriend. Hand on her back, making her uncomfortable. Crossing lines again. And now I'm stuck here, feeling sick. Like physically sick. Like my stomach is constantly in knots. Because I don't know what's worse. What he did, or the fact I don't know everything he did. He says he didn't have feelings for her. Says it meant nothing. Says it was the drugs, the alcohol, the blackout. And his apology, it sounded real. Like he cares. Like he regrets it. But regret doesn't erase actions. And apologies don't rebuild trust overnight. So now I'm left with this question. Do you judge someone for what they did when they weren't fully in control? Or do you accept that, deep down, that was still them? Because right now, I don't know if I'm holding on to someone who made a mistake, or someone I never really knew at all.